Hey gang, Eric Whitaker here. I'm in Mechelen in this gorgeous church, about to do a performance of Eternity in an hour's night. And for anybody who's interested in the gear that I'm using, I thought I'd do kind of a little walkthrough here. Here we go. Okay, so here is my basic setup. Here's my table, and I can stand just right here and conduct. That's where the choir stands. And the cello is over here, and piano is over here. And the heart of the system is the modular setup. And any of you who are into modular stuff will immediately recognize that this is mostly an effects rack, right? So I've got the Arbor, which is a granular synth. It's super, super beautiful. I use that in a couple different places. Databender, Nautilus, they kind of work together as a team. They're getting modulated by the Bella Gliss. For a while there, I was molting some stuff, the voices, and throwing them all over the place. But for this performance tonight, we're not going to do that. And then C-Legs goes to just about everything at some point or another. The Bitbox is playing a bunch of samples that I've made. Every movement has a different set of custom samples. And I trigger them here with these guys. I've got this X-Jam set up so that I can trigger CC change. And so you can see I've got movements 1 through 8, movement 7 gets 2 different 16 pad presets. And then this one is how I actually play when I'm conducting. So it's super nice. It's just right here. I can touch and give the downbeat all at the same time. It makes the playing super organic. I've got Just Friends, which is actually, I'm using the Norns over here to play Just Friends, going through Crow. And that's getting modulated by Acht here, and Drad, which I'm actually not going to use tonight. I have been using it on the voices as well, but tonight we're going to try something different, which is that I'm sending voices and a whole bunch of stuff to the Cosmos, the Soma Cosmos. I love this machine, and so we're going to try something a little different. I've got the Board Brain Exelon, the mixer, and the extra 3 channels too. So that's basically the modular system here. And then, by the way, this is the grid to play the Just Friends and the Norns. We get to the Lyra, and the Lyra I play in half the movements, I guess. One of them really gets featured. And this specific Lyra was customized for me by my dear friend Scott Fangen. Scott is an actual NASA engineer and also a synth god. And I told him that what I needed was, anybody who's played one of these Lyras know that the tuning is just a nightmare, and there's just no way I could tune it live. And so what he did is he installed all of these are fine tuning knobs. So these pots allow me to tune in real time. So if I hit here, I can see where I'm at, and then I can just take and just barely touch it. And so that during performance, I can tune this thing. The other thing about the Lyra is that, you know, it's all analog circuitry, and it really responds to to cold and heat. And when you're in these big churches, you know, like the temperature is just, it wildly fluctuates. So I'm constantly tuning during performance. Next to that is the Mogerfoger, and these two work as a team. And basically what I'm doing is I'm constantly with my right hand playing the Mogerfoger, the filter. It's just got that gorgeous, that signature Moog filter sound. And so that helps me kind of cut some of the edge off the Lyra when I'm playing it live. Those guys come in and go to Cloudburst. It's so funny, I bought this pedal because I wrote a piece called Cloudburst a long time ago. And I bought it only for the name, and it's just become one of my favorite pedals. It just kind of gives it this big, lush sound, and I can roll that off if I need the Lyra to growl. And then that goes to the Microcosmos, or the Microcosm. The Microcosm, to me, and the Lyra were made for each other. It's just, even if I just play here, and I've got it set up on this little micro loop mode, and so what it does is it waits a bit, it's going, you hear it through the Cloudburst, and then it gets picked up by the Microcosm, and these little ghost notes come back, and there's a kind of dance that you can do as you play them. It's like a living creature. Over here, then, is the Seat Lombard Sidrax, this thing. And I tend to play it this way, like running my fingers along the wood. There's little microphones underneath that capture. And in this case, then, that's going through generation loss, which is giving that kind of that broken, tapey feel. If you turn it off, then it's woody and very fluty. I like the kind of the crunch of it. And then what I do with this a couple of times is I throw that to the Cosmos. And then, so for instance, if I play, let me zero this out. So if I do here, if I play that, now that's gone to the Cosmos. And then if I just bring up that channel, now you just get this really gorgeous granular effect. I don't know if you can hear it in stereo. And with the setting that I've got it on, where the feedback's in 1, it'll just do this all night, basically. So it just becomes this super beautiful little meditation. That's basically it. The last thing is the Chroma console is, I'm running the piano through it. And specifically, I'm running it through this cassette setting that it's got. So again, we're taking this grand piano and then kind of lo-fiing it. So it gets crunchy and a little warbly. And it gets more so as the piece goes on, so that by the final notes of the piano are almost like they're underwater. It's a super nice pedal. And then the Walrus Audio Slower, which is the same company that makes the tuners. I love those tuners just because there's just no question what note that is, just big, nice big letter. And the Slower is this, it's, God, what a beautiful reverb this is. The way I'm using it, I'm not pushing it very hard, but it goes on almost everything. And then what it's got is the reverb that the tail gets affected by this stretch, which is kind of a bit reducer. And so where it's set now, I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's 12-bit, but you definitely hear that there's a crunch in the tail of all the reverbs, which to me also just gives it that nostalgic, broken, tapey sound. So that's basically it. My setting here, and then if we look out here, and I'll do it over my head this way. There's Steph back there. He's running the board, and that's Stefan Alcinoy, just an absolute integral part of this piece. And we've got surround sound, like killer, 6 speakers surround sound, and then these big subwoofers down here. So on the gentle bits, it's incredibly ephemeral and delicate. Where everyone's sitting, you're just swimming in the sound. And then in the big bits, it lifts you out of your seat. It's been an incredible experience doing this with all of these players, with Steph, and just playing with all of these toys. For me, on a very personal level, it's just brought me to a different way of thinking about composition and about music. And the last thing I'll say is that one of the things that I wanted to do was not have a traditional keyboard. So there's no real keyboard up here that I'm playing. But what there is there's 3 different materials. So I've got wood, I've got silicone here, and I've got metal. And that was very intentional, that during the piece I would be constantly touching these different kinds of material and just being present. The piece, I hope it works this way for the audience, but for me, it was very much designed for me to be present. That in one way, I'm doing so much, just keeping so busy, that there's nowhere to go. There's no time to think about other things or get in my head. But that also that everything is so tactile and so alive, all these different electronic instruments, that I'm constantly touching back in with the sensual world. And for the poetry, Eternity in an Hour, this beautiful poem by William Blake, that's been a very deep connection. And I think the electronics and the way that I get to play them while I'm conducting, it's been pretty transformative for me on a very personal level. Hope you're well, and if you've stuck around this long, thank you. See you.